Now let's do applications of dimensional method. That is, what are the applications or uses of dimensional method? The first one is to convert the value of a physical quantity from one system of units to another. Suppose we take 1 Newton and we want to find out 1 Newton is how much dyne. Okay. Our aim is to find the value of 1 Newton in dyne. Okay. Now you know that Newton, this is SI unit of force, and dyne is CGS unit of force. For using this method, what we do, we use formula N1U1 equals to N2U2. This is the formula which we'll be using to find the value of one physical quantity and convert its value to another system of units. So what we do, first of all, we'll take dimensional formula for that physical quantity whose value we want to convert from one system to another. So let's take as it is the force term. So dimension of force, this is your MLT minus 2. This we know. So now we'll take that let 1 Newton be equals to small n dyne. We are using N1U1 equals to N2U2. So N1 is the numerical value in first system of units where the unit is Newton. N2 will be the numerical value in the second system. We have taken the value as N, and U2 is the unit in the second system. So what we'll do, we'll take the dimension MLT minus 2, and as the Newton is the unit in SI system, so we'll take this SI. This is your N, again MLT minus 2 in CGS. We'll write corresponding units here. So this is your 1 kg, for length it is meter per second square, that is your N, gram, centimeter and second square. So here if you take for N, it is 1 into kg by gram, meter by centimeter, and per second square will get cancelled. So what we get here, for this one, again as we'll be just putting the values. So we get N equals to 1, and this is your 10 to the power 3 gram by gram, 10 to the power 2 centimeter by centimeter. These will get cancelled and will get 10 to the power 5. The value of N is 10 to the power 5. It simply means that 1 Newton is equals to 10 to the power 5. So this is the relation, and this relation we have obtained using dimensional method. So this is the first application. Let's take the second application. To derive a relationship between different physical quantities likely to be involved to represent a given physical quantity. Suppose we want to find out a relation for a given physical quantity in terms of the other physical quantities to represent that physical quantity or to get any mathematical relation for that. So for example, we take that we assume that the time period of a simple pendulum depends upon the mass of the bob, then effective length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity. We have to find expression for the time period of the pendulum in terms of this. So what we do, we assume that time period of a simple pendulum is proportional to whatever terms are there. You just take their powers as A, B, C. If it is said that the time period of simple pendulum is depending upon mass of the bob, so we'll assume that time period of pendulum T is proportional to m power A, effective length as L power B, and acceleration due to gravity G power C. So if you combine, you'll get T proportional to m power A, L power B, G power C, or we can write T equals to K m power A, L power B, G power C, where this K is a dimensionless constant. Dimensionless constant. So our aim will be to get the values of A, B, C. If you get the values of A, B, C, definitely we'll get the relation. So what we do, we take the dimensions of both sides. So if you take the dimensions of both sides, if you take the dimension of T on left side, K m power A, L power B, and G power C. If you do this, then you'll find that it is your T. K is a dimensionless quantity. So as it is a dimensionless quantity, so obviously it will be 1. It is now m power A, L power B, and for G, it is LT to the power minus 2 power C. So we can put these values by just taking their dimensions. Now if you combine this, what you will find that this is on left side, it is T. So it can also be written as your M0 L0 T. This is your M power A, and here it is your L power B plus C. B is here, C is here, and T power minus 2C. So now what we'll do, we'll equate the powers of base units, like we'll equate the power of M, then T, then L. So equating the powers of M, T, and L. If you equate the power of M from both sides, you will get A equals to 0. Now, we are doing for T first, after M, T first before L, just because the power of T is involving only one quantity there, that is C. So here, minus 2C is equals to 1, or C will be equals to minus half. And now, if you take for powers of L, then you will get the expression that B plus C is equals to 0, or B is equals to minus C. If you put the value of C, it will be plus half. So what we have got? We have got the value of A, which is 0. We have got the value of B, which is half. We have got the value of C, which is minus half. We'll put these values in the expression for the time period which we have taken initially. So now this T will be equals to K M power 0, L power half, and G power minus half. So if you put this, it is your K root over T by root over L by G. T is equals to K times root over L by G. So this is the relation. Okay. Now you see, here in this one, we have assumed that the time period of simple pendulum depends upon mass of the bob. Okay. But if you apply this dimensional method there, you will find that mass terms power comes out to be 0. That means it is independent of mass. if you just equate this relation with the actual expression for the time period of simple pendulum, then this is your t equals to 2 pi root over L by J. So this is exactly the same in this case. In place of this k, it is 2 pi, and this value we obtained experimentally. Not by dimensional method, you will be able to get this value of k. This is, you can say, one of the limitations also of dimensional method, because it will not give you the value of dimensionless constant here. Okay. Now let's take the third application of it. To check dimensional correctness of a given formula or relation. Suppose we have one formula. We want to check whether it is dimensionally correct or not. Say, for example, we want to check the dimensional correctness of the formula V equals to U plus At. Now, in this one, what we'll do, we'll take the dimension of both sides. So, first we'll take dimension of left hand side. So, it is dimension of V, which is Lt power minus 1. Now, let's take the dimension of right hand side. This is U dimension of At. So, this is your Lt power minus 1, Lt power minus 2 into T, which is Lt power minus 1 plus Lt power minus 1. The sum of the two will be your Lt power minus 1 on T power minus 1 only, not 2 times. Why? Because 2 is dimensionless quantity. 2 is a number. It is a dimensionless quantity. Therefore, this sum will also be just giving you Lt power minus 1. It is just like if you are adding mass to mass, you will get a mass quantity. If you add length to length, you will get length. Okay, it will not be 2 times length. Numerical values will be differ, but not the base quantities there. So here, as 2 is dimensionless. So now you can see, therefore, as we have got dimension of left hand side same as dimension of right hand side, therefore formula is dimensionally correct. Take care, we are checking the dimensional correctness. So if you get dimension of left hand side same as dimension of right hand side, your conclusion should be the formula or the relation is dimensionally correct. Don't just write it is correct, because many times you'll find the formula which is dimensionally correct may not be a correct formula. But of course, all formulas which are correct will be dimensionally correct also. Like for this case, if I take in this expression, it is 280. V equals to U plus 280. So there also you will find that dimension of right hand side will be same as dimension of left hand side, because 2 is the dimensionless quantity. So there dimension of left hand side, right hand side will be correct. Formula will be dimensionally correct. But you know that this is not a correct formula. So whenever you check the dimensional correctness, check the dimension of left hand side, find the dimension of right hand side and see whether the two are equal or not. If they are equal, it is dimensionally correct. Next application is to find unit of a physical quantity. Suppose we want to find the unit of velocity. So first of all, what you will do, you will find dimension of this one. This is your Lt power minus 1. So unit of velocity, we can write corresponding units of those base units. So as it is a length term, so it is meter per second. Similarly, if you want to find the unit of acceleration, so first we'll take the dimension of acceleration, which is Lt power minus 2. So the unit of acceleration will be meter per second square. If you want to find the, suppose, unit of momentum, so momentum unit will be your mass into velocity dimension So it is your m L t minus 1. So the unit of momentum will be kg meter per second. So these are 4 uses or applications of dimensional method. Let's take now limitations of dimensional method. That means what are the drawbacks or limitations of the dimensional method. The first one is dimensional method cannot be used to find the value of dimensionless constant. Like we have done the expression for time period of simple pendulum and we have derived that one by dimensional method. So this was coming as T root over T K times root over L by G. This is your dimensionless constant. By dimensional method, we cannot find its value. So this is one of the limitations of dimensional method. Second limitation is that dimensional method cannot be used to derive or get the relations of trigonometrical, exponential, algebraic functions there. Because all these mathematical relations or the functions, they are dimensionless. And if they are dimensionless, obviously you cannot apply dimensional method to get the relation. So we cannot use dimensional method to get the trigonometrical relation, trigonometrical formulas there, algebraic formula or exponential, logarithmic, any such mathematical functions or formulas there. Third limitation is that dimensional method is helpful in getting the relation when 3 physical quantities are involved. Like we have taken that the time period of a simple pendulum depends upon mass of the bob, then effective length, acceleration due to gravity. So if it depends upon say 3 factors, then we can use dimensional method to get the relation. If 4 are involved, in that case it becomes complicated. And if more than 4 or 5 are there, then this method almost fails. Now why we are saying this? Suppose you have any particular function, or say like for this one, we have taken time period depending upon mass, length, acceleration due to gravity. So our relation will be like L power A, B power, M power A, L power B and G power C. To get the relation, what we do? We take the dimension of both hand sides. If you equate the dimension of both hand sides, then we are basically trying to equate the powers of the base units like M, L and T. If suppose any other factor is there, then the power will be, suppose any other is there whose power we have taken T. So that means apart from M, L and T, some other base units must be involved. Because there will be 4 unknown there, and if only M, L and T are involved, then equating the powers of M, L and T from both sides, you will only get 3 equations. If 4 unknowns are there, definitely you cannot get the value of all those 4 unknowns just by using 3 equations there. Okay. Some functions or relations may be there where there may be the 4th base unit involved. Maybe your temperature term is there, or maybe your current term is there. So if it is 4 are there, 4 equations will be required to get the value of 4 unknown. But very few cases are there where 5 base units will be involved. So obviously, if you have taken any physical quantity depending upon 5, and if they are not involving 5 different base units, definitely you cannot solve them to get the value of unknown. So that is why it is said that if this method we apply, we can easily use it to get the relation if suppose up to 3 are involved. When 4 physical quantities will be there, then it becomes complicated and it almost fails in case of 5 or more than that. So this is the third limitations of the dimensional method. Fourth limitation. we cannot use dimensional method to derive relation if it involves a dimensional constant there. If dimensional constant will be involved in that relation, then we cannot use dimensional method to get the relation there. So for example, if we consider that force of gravitation is depending upon the mass of the ball. So it is m1 power A, m2 power B, and separation R power C. And if you use it, it will be your K times m1A, m2B, and R power C. If you take dimension of both hand side, you will not be able to get the dimensions or the values of A, B, and C by equating base units, because it involves a constant here which is not dimensionless. It is a dimensional constant. Basically, it is coming in place of G there. As you can see, here what you will get? It will be your m power A plus B. And this side it will be your R, that is L power C. And this side it is your MLT minus 2. So if you are involving this relation, then what you will get? A plus B is equals to 1, which is not the correct one. Similarly, L power you are getting as C, which is your 1. But we find that the value of means it should be minus 2. So obviously we cannot use, just because the constant which is involved is a dimensional constant. So this is the fourth limitations of dimensional method, that it can be used only for the case if it involves a dimensionless constant, and then only we will be able to get the relation. The fifth limitation is dimensional method can be used only to get the functions or the relations which are given by the product functions or product relation. Like if suppose any physical quantity is there, in that case the different physical quantities which are involved, they must be related with the product function, not by sum or difference of functions. Like if you want to get the relation between mass and acceleration to represent force, so force is equals to mass into acceleration. This I can get by dimensional method, because here it is the product function used. Mass is being multiplied to acceleration. But if I use dimensional method and try to get this relation, that V equals to U plus AT, we will never be able to get that. Maximum you will get V equals to U, because dimensions will be there. Then either you can get V equals to AT, this dimension you can get, but you can never get this relation, that V will be equal to U plus AT, because if you are taking the dimension of both hand side, it will just come out to be same, and you are not adding these functions there or taking the difference there. So you cannot get this relation. We cannot get relation like V square minus U square equals to 2AS. We cannot get this relation in this form by dimensional method. We can use dimensional method only to get the functions or relation which are given by the product or division, not by sum or difference. So these are the limitations of dimensional method.